Hey everyone. So Donald Trump released a new attack ad against the Democrats recently, and it's pretty brutal. It is pretty hard hitting. And so I want to show you guys, and then I wanted to come back and talk about why I believe it's so effective.
We turn now to that $350 billion fund to help small businesses and its workers get through the shutdown.
It will be up to Congress to restock it.
But Democrats blocking that move this morning.
They asked for $250 billion in 48 hours. I said, well, I don't think so. They objected, and I congratulate the Senate Democrats.
Speaker Pelosi, what are you going to share with us from your home?
Chocolate candy.
Thousands have been forced to wait for hours at food banks all across the country.
This is
Oh my.
chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. We just got to restock the ice cream.
You don't want to eat up everything all at one time.
I can't do it much longer. I'm trying so hard.
We're, shall we say, enjoying.
Having to admit that, yeah, we're starving, and
I like it better than anything else.
Taping this segment, there are 22 million people out of work.
This specific program is about stopping job losses today.
This is hurting people bad.
Other people in our family go for some other flavors, but
Right now, it's survival mode. You don't know where that next something else is going to come from.
I don't know what I would have done if ice cream were not invented. I just wonder.
So that was really, really, really effective. And first things first, let me just say, if you're a politician, don't go on one of those like a late night talk shows, those comedy shows. It always comes off as overly scripted, and the politicians always seem like super robotic, and like the jokes are never that good because like the politicians actually like can't really make fun of themselves, or usually don't. And like I know that some people will say like, hey, they're just having fun, let them have fun, but like they're not doing it to have fun. They're doing it to come off as more relatable and more like down to earth and like, oh, look at me, I like ice cream, huh? Don't people like ice cream? And so it's like, if she was doing it just to have fun, I mean, that's one thing, but it's so obvious that that's not why she was doing it. She was doing it to like help with her popularity and come off as more relatable. And I mean, Nancy Pelosi just did not come off as relatable whatsoever. I mean, two $24,000 fridges sitting next to you. You're talking about your gourmet ice cream that you love to eat. Like, that just doesn't have the same weight that you might think that it does. And then the next aspect of it is that it also doesn't look good. So this is something I feel like that is being unfairly kind of misconstrued. A lot of Republicans are saying that Democrats are holding up this money that's going to small businesses. And to my understanding, the reason that they are not like doing this is because last time around in the last stimulus package, the money that was meant to go to small businesses was actually eaten up. A large part of it was eaten up by like rather large companies that like barely fit the small business kind of moniker. And then so a lot of like real small businesses didn't really get any of the money. And so now there's like this new thing coming around. And so like they're worried like, hey, is this going to actually have provisions where this will actually go to small businesses? And then there's also the aspect of in the stimulus bill, they want to include more things in there. Like they want to include like, another like round of checks going out to people, like the $1,200 check, the one-time one wasn't really enough. And they want to include, I believe, more expansive unemployment stuff. Not positive on that one, but I know that they want to include more things in there. So it's a little not super genuine when they say that like, oh, they want to like just hold up the money to small businesses, but rhetorically super effective, especially when you have Nancy Pelosi kind of like, obviously it's just a taken out of context, but like it looks like she is holding up this money to small businesses, and it's one of those things where like on its face, like you like, I don't know, we have this weird thing in politics because we have this like this team mentality, and like people are so willing to assume the worst of the people on the other side. And so when they say like, oh, they're like trying to stop money going to small businesses, like most people like on the right, if they consider themselves like in the Republican team, they're not going to really be like, huh, why? They'll just assume like, it's because they hate small businesses because they're evil. And like, don't get me wrong, like Democrats are 100% also responsible for this. Like if people will say like just pretty much anything about Republicans, and they'll believe it. Like you could say anything about Donald Trump and Democrats will 100% believe it. They won't like go and fact check it. People want to assume the worst about people from the other side. There's just very little thinking that goes into that. And so this ad I think was really, really effective because it just shows that Donald Trump is a very effective marketer. He is super good at making himself, and this is kind of, I had a video yesterday where I was talking about how Republicans make themselves look like they are for the people and Democrats are not for the people, and just Nancy Pelosi thing, I mean, people are really harping on it, but I mean, now it's in attack ads. Like that's how egregious it was, is that it looked just so out of touch that it's going in attack ads now. But it's not like the only thing. Like I heard Michael Brooks was talking about how Bill Clinton was a lot more effective at appearing like an everyman kind of person. Obama was also Obama honestly came off as more charismatic. He had this charm. I think that's where a lot of Obama's appeal came from. But Bill Clinton had this really kind of like everyman kind of attitude about him, and people really thought that, you know, he was with the people. That wasn't true. He was a neoliberal corporatist and really changed directions of the Democrat Party in a terrible way. But he was at least effective at like appearing to be an average person, like a relatable person. Now, just people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they don't even attempt it, really. They like, I guess they were attempting it. I mean, Nancy Pelosi was trying to do it. She was just really, really bad at it. And so this is just something that Democrats are going to have to work on long term. And it's one of those things. I mean, the AOC has recently like come under fire because people are saying that she's like elitist or privileged because she doesn't like, she made some sort of comment about the crisis, and people are like saying that like, oh, she doesn't care about the people who've lost their jobs, and like they're saying that she's privileged. But like originally the attacks against AOC was that she was, you know, just a bartender, and that she was like this, you know, why should she be in Congress? Those were the original attacks against her. And so like I feel like those were like not very hard hitting attacks, because it's like, oh, she's just a bartender, and then like people are like, what, why don't you like bartenders? And so they've shifted their attacks a little bit. Like it's really weird. The Republicans are really organized. They seem to be pretty effective at like all getting around the same thing messaging wise. And like the messaging right now seems to be that Democrats aren't with the people. And so even someone like AOC, they're gonna start hitting her like she's this like privileged, out of touch person. That's not the case with AOC, but that's what people are gonna start saying. And so it's because this effective messaging of like, this is where we're going, this is where we're going, and when so many people are struggling because of this crisis, that's pretty effective. That is an effective strategy to take. And so I really, you know, I think we're going to see more ads like this. I think that is kind of the direction that Republicans are going at the moment when it comes to attacking Democrats. And Democrats need to get their messaging together. They really do. They need to come back and, you know, highlight some things that Republicans are doing that are not for the people. You know, Kelly Loeffler, great example, all that insider trading. She's a good, easy example to point to. And also just talking about what we should be doing in the crisis. Democrats need to be talking about a strategy to reopen the economy. Right now, they're just not doing that. Democrats need to be talking about that. Even if it's not soon, they need to be talking about their plan to reopen the economy, because right now, you literally have people saying things are never going to go back to normal, and that is just not effective messaging whatsoever. And so anyway, if you guys disagree with anything I said in this video, please leave a comment down below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.